Welcome to the City Stay in True to Yourself podcast, where we explore fascinating topics across different industries, fields, everything, intersections of economics, markets, geopolitics, technology, personal growth is the most important thing, though. I'm your host, Tex Wambui, and today I'll be diving into a topic that is rapidly becoming one of the most important discussions of our time. And I've been having these discussions with people. I don't have a guest today, but this conversation will be about rethinking growth, thinking more beyond the metrics. In this episode, I'll explore how focusing on individual well being can drive national development and why a holistic approach is necessary for sustainable progress. Excuse me. I will also look at the crucial role technology plays in this landscape, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence, which is reshaping industries, societies, and the very way we think about growth and development. Excuse me. For too long, economic success and success essentially has been viewed through a narrow lens, especially with the financial metrics from a global standpoint and national macro level, where gross domestic product is the most common measure. While GDP offers a snapshot of a country's economic activity, it fails to account for critical aspects of societal well-being, happiness, mental health, education, environmental sustainability, and social equity. And as we navigate an increasingly interconnected world with complex challenges like climate change, inequality, mental health crisis, war, we need a more nuanced approach to growth, one that is comprehensive, inclusive, and forward-thinking. So what do I mean when I say holistic growth? Holistic growth refers to a multidimensional approach to the development that considers the whole person, society, and planet. It's about recognizing that economic output alone does not reflect the quality of life of citizens or the health of ecosystems. Holistic growth encompasses social, emotional, physical, and intellectual well being alongside financial prosperity. For instance, consider the case of Bhutan. It's a region, it's a small Himalayan kingdom, and is often cited as a pioneer of holistic growth, choosing to measure progress not by GDP, but by gross national happiness, GNH. GNH emphasizes spiritual, emotional, and physical well being alongside economic growth. By doing so, Bhutan's policies focus on sustainable development, environmental conservation, and cultural preservation as well. And the results have been extremely impressive. While I was doing my research, I found this is incredibly fascinating. Bhutan consistently in global happiness indexes, despite its modest economic size. And if anybody out there, you're listening, and please let me know of any other area you think I should look into that does something similar to where they don't just use GDP, they also use GNH, gross national happiness. Similarly, I saw that New Zealand has adopted a well-being budget. It might not be news to some of y'all, but to me, this is something new. They have this whole thing called well-being budget, which moves away from economic metrics as a sole indicator of progress. In New Zealand, fiscal policies are evaluated based on how they impact quality of life, including reducing child poverty, improving mental health, maternal health, and supporting environmental sustainability. And I just let y'all know, I think it's really important right now. We should focus on taking care of our environment in whatever way we can. It all starts with you. As I always say on this podcast, it all starts with you. So when you look at New Zealand, it marks a shift from traditional economic thinking to a model that prioritizes human happiness and societal well-being. I'm not saying all this to tell y'all what to do or to tell nations what to do, but just something to consider and think about when in these rooms and discussions that impact not just the small community, but the masses of people. So why traditional economic metrics, I think, are insufficient? Historically, countries and governments have relied on GDP as the primary measure of economic success. However, GDP is just so blunt. It's just a very blunt way of looking at things, just straight paper kind of face value, which, to some, that's what they might like. But I would like for people to be more open-minded. Open your eyes to see. GDP measures the value of goods and services produced, but tells us nothing about how equitably that wealth is distributed or whether the growth is sustainable in the long term. GDP can rise while inequality worsens, environmental degradation accelerates, or crises intensify in different regions of the world. For example, I use the United States has one of the highest GDPs in the world, but it faces significant challenges with income inequality, health disparities, and environmental degradation. And also, specifically, there's this whole thing which is going to be on Project HBCU, something that's coming up soon. Shout out to Project HBCU team when it comes to education and emphasizing education is important. It's not just about the traditional way of education, it's about being curious and learning and being able to collaborate with everybody around you because curiosity, they say it kills the cat, but why don't you just become curious to learn, to be better there for the world, you know? But, anyways, the focus on economic growth without consideration of these other factors has led to a lot of systemic social issues within the United States that require more of a holistic perspective. And there is systems in place that have been placed to kind of address this through nonprofit organizations, charity work, philanthropy work, humanitarian work. However, now it only comes back to now the individual themselves. How can they participate? And that is the point of why I want to have discussion for and talk about this is because when you look at the one unit of production one person does, and then you aggregate everybody else's production, not everybody has the same level playing field. Some people have more ambition than others. Some people have more determination than others. So those are just some things to consider. And the limitations of GDP become especially evident when considering the environmental impact. A country could experience economic growth driven by industrial production and resource extraction while simultaneously degrading its natural ecosystems. And eventually, the environmental costs, such as pollution, deforestation, and loss of biodiversity, become barriers to sustainable development. An example would be Costa Rica is an excellent example of a country that has successfully balanced economic growth with environmental sustainability. They have invested in renewable energy and biodiversity conservation, and Costa Rica has preserved its natural resources while boosting its economy through ecotourism. That's just a prime example that it's out there as general knowledge. I would challenge for y'all to go look at some other more, and I will also be doing that myself. And this demonstrates that focusing on more than just economic growth can lead to better outcomes for both people and the planet. Now, we also have to consider the role of technology in holistic growth, the AI factor. Now, let's shift our focus to technology, which is increasingly becoming a key player in the drive for holistic growth. Hope y'all remember what I said about what holistic growth by this conversation I'm having here. In particular, the rise of artificial intelligence has seen the potential to revolutionize how we approach economic and social development. There was a report, a PwC report that was published. AI is expected to contribute up to 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 20. We are in 2024 now. That's 6 years away. Let's see what happens, you know? And this staggering figure highlights the potential AI has to drive economic growth. But what's equally important is how AI can also be leveraged to enhance social, environmental, and human well-being if it's deployed responsibly. There's a lot of discussion around AI legislation. Personally, I think AI is a good tool if it's used responsibly. I've used it myself. It does allow for efficiency and a streamline of doing things sometimes. And it does create a level of more productivity from my personal experience. And it does enable for the use of developing yourself as a human being and not just focusing and wasting too much damn time. I feel like sometimes we waste too much damn time on trying to impress others when you can find different resources and tools. And I think AI is a perfect resource. It gives you now the ability to streamline things, and then you can now focus on yourself. But it also gives you the ability to learn something that is a technological innovation. And in an industry that I think AI is really revolutionary is AI in healthcare. Healthcare is an example. AI-powered tools are revolutionizing medical diagnostics, treatment plans, and patient care. And these technologies allow for early detections of diseases, more personalized treatments, and improved patient outcomes. We have made it this far as a society to where we now have things that can detect things before you even know about them. And when health outcomes improve, the ripple effects are felt across society. And individuals can be more productive, as I was saying, and the burden on healthcare system is reduced. And one prime example of AI's potential in healthcare is in the field of like medical imaging. AI algorithms have shown remarkable accuracy in diagnosing conditions like cancer from medical scans, often outperforming human radiologists. Not saying we don't need human radiologists, but if human radiologists maybe become trained on how to use AI, it might increase their accuracy level and reduce the margin of error. This not only speeds up diagnosis, but also ensures that patients receive timely and accurate care, which is crucial for conditions where early intervention makes a significant difference. The positive impact of AI in healthcare also extends to resource allocation. With AI powered systems analyzing vast amounts of data, healthcare providers can more efficiently manage resources, reduce costs, and focus on preventive care, all of which are essential components of holistic growth. When individuals are healthier, they're more capable of contributing to their communities and economies, which creates a virtuous cycle of well being. Now, transitioning to now how AI in education, like I had mentioned, Project HBCU is coming up. Be on the lookout for that, y'all. AI in education is another area where AI is reshaping holistic growth. And in countries like Finland, it's known for its world class education system. AI tools are being used to personalize learning experiences for students. These tools help students develop not just academic skills, but also creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence. These are skills that are crucial in today's complex world. And through fostering these skills, individuals become better equipped to navigate the challenges of modern life and contribute positively to society. And I think that personalized learning through AI also helps reduce educational inequalities. And this is where organizations such as Project HBCU come into place. They have figured out a problem and now they have the resources that they can use to mitigate this problem, such as a school to prison pipeline. And in many parts of the world, access to quality education is limited by geographical, social, or economic barriers. AI powered learning platforms can bridge this gap by providing personalized, high quality education to students regardless of their location or background. Now, there is still a challenge of AI in a holistic growth. It's important to acknowledge that AI, while it does offer great potential, great potential, which I really, really like, it also brings significant challenges to consider. One of the most pressing concerns is the impact of AI on employment. Big topic that people have been talking about. I've been hearing this chatter all the time. You go to a restaurant, even my own family, my friends, everybody talk about AI go take my job. AI was developed by human beings, I think, right? And I think we have the ability to now control how we use AI. That's why I said if it's deployed responsibly. As automation and AI technologies become more widespread, there is a risk that certain jobs, especially those involving repetitive tasks, will be displaced. And this could increase inequality if adequate retraining programs and social safety nets aren't put in place. Remember, I said if deployed responsibly. There are also ethical concerns surrounding AI, which I really, really think is something to consider, which is a whole conversation for a different day, particularly related to privacy, bias, and accountability. The World Economic Forum, actually, I think in 2020, reported that AI governance underscores the importance of developing ethical AI frameworks that prioritizes fairness, transparency, and accountability. If AI is to play a central role in holistic growth, it must be designed and governed in ways that benefit all members of society, not just the privileged few. For example, my master's program, I had to write a capstone paper and I wrote about electrification in Kenya. And the reason I wanted to write that is because the country is pushing to have more technological innovation, but I don't think it's possible to reach technological innovation if you can't even address a issue of how can you ensure everybody has access to electricity so that when they do get connection to the world, they don't have to worry about their lights going out. You cannot have internet without power. So those are some things to consider is what are the necessary steps to achieving and bridging that digital equity gap? That's things in considering how we can all holistically grow as a planet. Now, the path forward, integrating technology with holistic growth, the challenge for governments, businesses, and societies is to ensure that technological progress is aligned with broader goals of holistic growth. And this requires a conscious effort to integrate AI into systems in a way that promotes inclusivity, sustainability, and human well being. I'll go back to healthcare. I have a good friend that is writing research on maternal healthcare, maternal and child healthcare in Ethiopia. And of course, there's a lot of disparities, especially between urban and rural populations. Urban populations have access to some hospitals and rural populations have access to some hospitals. But now the disparity comes where some areas have this access to technology and some don't have access to this technology. How do you bridge that gap now so that the whole country itself can actually come to meet and understand equity is important? Anyways, that was kind of a little tangent. And I think for governments, this means crafting policies that incentivize the responsible use of AI, foster innovation, and address the potential social and economic disruptions caused by automation. So, by pinpointing specific factors such as electrification, maternal health and childcare, school to prison pipeline, those are things that have been identified. But how now do we use AI to now streamline their resources into the specific communities and ensuring that the path forward is integrating technology with holistic growth? And I'm a big believer in technological innovation. And economics, I think there's a theory where it says as the rate of technology increases, more likely productivity is to grow. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that for all the fellow economists out there. But this includes investing in education and workforce development programs that prepare individuals for the jobs of the future and ensure that no one is left behind in this digital transformation that we're going towards to. For businesses, the responsibility lies in adopting ethical AI frameworks and prioritizing corporate social responsibility, CSR. Companies that succeed in aligning their AI strategies with holistic growth goals will not only contribute to societal well-being, but also gain a competitive edge as consumers increasingly demand ethical, sustainable products and services. Now, holistic growth is about recognizing the interconnectedness of individual well-being, societal development, and environmental sustainability. Those are three things I just wanted to focus on. And economic growth is just one piece of the puzzle. True progress must also account for social equity, environmental health, and the ethical use of technology. And as we stand on the brink of an AI powered future, it's essential to harness these technologies in ways that support, not undermine, holistic growth. AI has the potential to enhance education, healthcare, transitioning in energy systems, and economic productivity. But its benefits must be shared equitably, and its risks must be managed responsibly. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Anybody out there that's want to engage in this conversation, please follow, subscribe, like, share, reach out on social media platforms, LinkedIn, IG, whatever it is. I would say call me, but I don't want y'all to call me. You can just text me if you have my number. Anyways, thank y'all for joining me. I'm Tex Wambui, host of this podcast. Soon we'll be having some cool guests on this podcast. On this episode of the City Podcast, we always say pursue your dream and seize the day. And if you found today's discussion insightful, please subscribe. Like I said, leave me a review, leave team a review, share your thoughts on social media where you can go and use hashtag city. And let's continue this vital conversation together. And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, stay holistic, and always remember, pursue your dream, seize the day. Peace out.